on that story, but for the moment, moving on. Now, on day one of the budget session of Parliament, it's a big development that's happened, and we are all waiting for the budget on the 1st of February. But the conversation moved way beyond that politically, because there's a political storm after President Droupadi Murmu's speech hailing the government's Viksit Bharat vision. It began with Sonia Gandhi indicating that the president got tired by the end of the speech. Rahul Gandhi repeated the same, what Sonia Gandhi said, and he also said she was boring, her speech was boring. The Rajya Sabha MP was heard saying false promises, after which Rahul Gandhi said that the speech was boring. To this, Sonia replied the president was getting very tired by the end. She could hardly speak, poor thing. Now, this is not a conversation they were having to the media cameras, but this is a conversation the son and the mother were having in front of the media cameras. The leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha was seen nodding in agreement, saying the president was repeating the same thing again and again. Have a look at this.
No comment.
No, the poor lady, president.
Repeating the same thing.
No, she could hardly speak for him.
The President's office called the remark in poor taste. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hit out at the Congress party while addressing a rally in Delhi's Dwarka earlier in the day. The Prime Minister further slammed the Congress party for insulting, quote, every poor person, unquote, of the country, and said, quote, they like abusing people, defaming India in foreign countries and talking about urban Naxals.
कांग्रेस का शाही परिवार उनके अपमान पर उतर आया है। शाही परिवार के एक सदस्य ने कहा कि आदिवासी बेटी ने बोरिंग भाषण दिया। दूसरी सदस्य तो इससे भी एक कदम आगे बढ़ गई। उन्होंने राष्ट्रपति जी को पुअर थिंग कहा, गरीब कहा और चीज कहा, थकी हुई कहा। एक आदिवासी बेटी का बोलना इनको बोरिंग लगता है।
Amid the backlash over Sonia Gandhi's remark on the president, Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge defended her statement, saying that the grand old party, quote, can never insult the president or any citizen, unquote. Let's go across to our guests and then hear both sides, and we'll allow you also to form fair judgment on what they were conversing, how they spoke, what was the attitude. Is it just a chat between the two? Did they not know the mics were there, the cameras were rolling and it could be caught? Siddharth Yadav, national spokesperson of the BJP with us. Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst with us. Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, gentlemen. Tehseen Poonawalla.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Yes, Anand, I fail to understand what the controversy is, but I do understand why it's being made into one. It's being made into one because the BJP tomorrow is not going to give middle class India any tax break, save us from tax terrorism or GST extortion, and they have no roadmap for the budget ahead. The next debate, of course, is on the economic survey presented, and they have zero vision, except for saying by 2047 we'll have a Viksit Bharat. So how do you divert? You divert to non-issues. You know, first of all, Mrs. Gandhi is the most dignified person I've ever met in my life, ever. And whatever be our political differences, Mrs. Gandhi has always been head and shoulders above everyone else. A personal conversation, you sometimes say the speech was, poor thing, looked tired. It's a figure of speech. It wasn't meant to insult the President of India. Compare this to the language the Honorable Prime Minister has used personally and publicly for Mrs. Gandhi. Jersey cow, Congress ki vidwa. For my friend Shashi Tharoor's late wife, a 50 crore ki girlfriend. These are public speeches made. Honestly, something as innocuous as that is being made into an issue. Why? Because the BJP has nothing for middle class India, nothing for the viewers of CNN News 18.
Siddharth.
Anand, I think what has happened today is very disgraceful for the democracy of this country. I find it very strange that how Tehseen very comfortably is saying that he doesn't even find why this is a controversy. the kind of language that was used by the privileged first family, the so-called first family as they wish themselves to be of the country, for the first citizen of the country, how can one person, and where does this courage come from to call the president, gather the courage to call the president a poor thing, a poor lady, boring, on the official address which marks, which has been a very historic address before the budget every year. The president has to come, give the joint address, the entire country is watching. I do not understand where this privilege comes from within the Congress party. Those days are gone. The Congress party should realize this, and in Hindi there's a saying, कि रस्सी जल गई पर बल नहीं गया. This is what is with the Congress party today. The people of the country have made it very clear to the Congress party that you have to come out of this phenomena of being the privileged elite, and you can say anything and everything, even to the president of this country. But I think this goes even back to the hatred that the Congress party has towards the tribals, the Dalits of the country, and this is not the first instance. Had it been in good taste, bad taste, I don't know what Tehseen was trying to explain, but this is what the Congress party has been doing historically. Since after President Droupadi Murmu ji has taken over, we have seen the kind of remarks that have been coming in from the Congress party. We have seen Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary coming out and saying she is Rashtrapatni, which is very strange. We have seen how Rahul Gandhi came out and said she cannot go to the Ram temple because she is a Dalit, because she is an Adivasi, and the facts were different. She visited the Ram temple, she did the Aarti, Maha Aarti. It's Rahul Gandhi and his first family who has not gone there. But the kind of hatred and the kind of indigestion that they have to have a tribal woman who has struggled her life, set an example for so many tribals, Dalits, backwards, the Shoshit, Dalit, Vanchit, Pichda Varg of this country, and set an example that she can be the first citizen, sit there with dignity. The Congress party leaves no opportunity to malign her. I think this is most disgraceful that can happen. And when Tehseen sits here and says that Madam Gandhi, is the most graceful lady that he has met ever, I do not think what to say about that. I do not know. I actually do not know. This coming from Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, all of them together having a chit chat about the Prime Minister, about the President of this country, I think this is utterly shameful. They should apologize. There's nothing more and nothing less that can happen to this.
Tehseen?
First of all, if somebody is having a chit chat, they can have a chit chat about anybody and everybody. At the basis of a democracy, you can speak as long as it's not offending, insulting, humiliating, or putting somebody down on caste, class, or religion. And that wasn't what it is. You're having a speech, you're analyzing a speech. You may disagree with the opinion. I disagree with the opinion. But if somebody says, look, poor kid is tired, poor lady, poor thing, that's not insulting. That's a figure of speech. But again, I'm saying let's assume that this is wrong language. Let us accept it. Manual scavenging is a spiritual experience. Is written in the book written by the current Honorable Prime Minister and new Chief Minister of Gujarat. Is this not insulting to all Dalit citizens? Mrs. Gandhi is only popular because she is fair-skinned, said a current minister of the BJP government, Giriraj Singh. Is this not insulting? I'm again asking you, 50 crore girlfriend for my friend Shashi Tharoor's late wife. Is this not humiliating? These are public speeches made. A personal conversation. I agree with Siddharth Bhai. You may have a problem with it. The BJP has a right to have a problem with it. And the BJP giving lectures on being anti-Dalit, anti-OBC, anti-tribal. The BJP has never had a woman president, a tribal president, a OBC president, and the one Dalit president they had, they treated him so badly. The RSS has had none of these. A Dalit, OBC, or a tribal chief. So the BJP and RSS have absolutely zero moral standing to lecture. The Vice President of India and the Honorable Chairperson of Rajya Sabha told Mr. Kharge, the Dalit leader in the Rajya Sabha and leader of opposition, that somebody else can be a better leader than him. This is how you treat Dalits. Please, not going to take a lecture from the BJP.
Siddharth?
Anand, my friend Tehseen is saying that BJP has all the right to get angry about this. It is not about BJP. Is the president of this country for BJP? I, as a citizen, I'm appalled, I'm hurt that you can have the liberty to use such words for the president of my country. Tehseen, do you understand this? Who is Sonia Gandhi? She might be very important for the Congress party. She might be very important for the panelists who come and sit on TV. But she is not as important as the president of this country. Not as important for me. And she has the liberty, and you say anybody can chit-chat about anyone in democracy. I am sorry. You cannot. You cannot call the president of this country a poor thing. I'm very sorry. If you disagree on that, and if we are on different pages on that, then I think we are not having a conversation. Because some things in life, for few things we have to draw some lines. We cannot cross those lines, and this is one such line. You cannot, on the day when the president is addressing the joint parliamentary session of the parliament and the people of this country, you cannot come out and call her that she was boring. You cannot say that she was a poor thing. You cannot say that. And especially when she is an example for lakhs and crores of tribals of this country. She is the first citizen of this country, and she has set a very positive example. Your leader Nana Patole says after she visited the Ram Mandir that the Ram Mandir has to be cleaned. The same thought you had for Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar. For so many years, you were anti-Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar, never gave him credit for anything, never made any institution after him, never made any infrastructure after him, just because of the reason that you cannot digest the Dalits, the tribals, the Pichdas of this country. You cannot do that. Because it is the first family phenomena of the Congress party that you cannot come out of that. Please come out of it. The people of the country have given you enough hints. The people of this country have made you sit in opposition for so long. They brought you down to 50 seats just because of this reason. Because you thought that one Sonia Gandhi, one first family is above everybody, all constitutional positions of the country. And you do not have, and you should not have the liberty to talk about the vice president. We all saw what happened outside the parliament. We all saw who was doing a mimicry of the vice president. You have made a joke of this democracy. Please do not continue to do so.
Tehseen.
The basis of democracy 101 is you can be critical of anyone, including Her Excellency the President of India, His Excellency the Vice President and Chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Should that be within limits and not abusive? I absolutely agree with that. Do I agree with the analysis of the President's speech? No, I don't agree with that. But there's been nothing insulting to the President of India. I reiterate that. And if this is an insult to Her Excellency the President of India, the first Dalit President of India, K.R. Narayanan, BJP put up a candidate against him. Why didn't you let the Dalit get elected unopposed? Why didn't you allow that? The first speaker of the Indian Parliament, who was a tribal, the BJP put up a candidate against Mr. Sangma. Why? So the fact of the matter is, if there is anything that is illegal, as you say, please show me the provision in BNS that says you cannot speak about the President of India. The fact that you're having this show on CNN News 18 shows it's absolutely illegal to have.
Tehseen Poonawala.
Sure, please, Anand.
So that means Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi agree that Bharat mein democracy khatre mein nahi hai. They can't say both, no. They can't say in democracy they have the right to say and criticize whoever, and on the other hand say that there is no respect for Samvidhan, or there is no that Bharat mein democracy khatre mein. So one Bharat mein democracy khatre mein nahi hai. Was there or was there not a candidate pitted against Droupadi Murmu ji by the Congress party? Was there or was there not? So if the question that you asked of Mr. K.R. Narayanan and the BJP fielding a candidate, that is part of the democratic process, the parliamentary process. Why bring in caste and creed and whatever background? So then the Congress also does not cover itself.
May I answer that?
The third point, I think the most important point is when they said
May I answer the first 2 points? Then you come to the.
I have 20 minutes. I didn't talk.
Sure.
I just said
I'll write it out. Oh, perfect.
When they said
thanks, I appreciate that.
When they said no comments, they knew the cameras and the mics were in front of them. After that, why were they having this conversation with the cameras and mics in front of them? If they had no comments, why have these comments then? What are they trying to show?
Okay. So just 3 questions. Why were they having a conversation? I think that's what basic families do. Families talk to each other.
No.
As long as the conversation is loving, polite. The other day I was telling somebody
about
my son.
No.
Poor. It's just a conversation. That's okay. And there were the paps out there, so there was some sort of cameras out there. It doesn't make it good or bad. Now let's come to the issue that you've raised, which is a very substantial issue. Is democracy threat in India? And I think that's a very good question you raised. The very basis of democracy not being under threat or being under threat is people like you and I always being vigilant against the government to ensure our constitutional rights are upheld. So I think democracy is always under threat, even in a vibrant democracy, because it's so easy to slip from a democracy to autocracy. So
basic freedoms have not been taken away. basic liberties have not been taken away. So
I
much so the
think-
liberties
I
have
think
been
the
extended
BJP
to
would
the
like to do
extent
it,
that people who
and
are out
they are
on bail
finished.
since 2015 continue to do so 9 years later. But those freedoms have not been taken away. But basic decorum, basic decency.
May I answer that?
No, one minute. Basic decorum, basic decency. Yes, one may say that Mrs. Sonia Gandhi
Anand.
may have, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, Siddharth Yadav, may have also said this out of compassion. That she looked tired, poor thing. Now that's a basic, she's 78 years old. Sonia Gandhi is 78 years old. She is not a 25, 30, 40-year-old person. Had a Rahul Gandhi had made that comment, that poor thing, there could have been far more offense that could have been taken. In this case, you could give Mrs. Sonia Gandhi the benefit of doubt to say that she looked tired, poor thing. From her end, it could have been a passage of compassion. Why drag what Droupadi Murmuji's this? Why is it so? And the leader of opposition believes that the speech was boring. Can he not believe that? Can he not have that opinion, Siddharth Yadav? Or can there not be a certain
Anand,
element that did Mrs. Gandhi say it out of elitism and disrespect, or was it just a matter of somebody saying from a compassionate point of view, poor thing, she looked so tired by the end of it. Now that's what she said. Now you may take objection to say, why did she say poor thing about the president? Well, you're willing to do that, but are you willing to also concede that she may have said this out of compassion? Yes, Siddharth Yadav.
Anand, first of all, I'll respond to my friend Tehseen, and he says that why did we field candidates against the Dalit candidates in the past, wherein the Congress party had fielded them for presidents. I find this very strange. Now, Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, their entire family, they can say, they can cross the limit and say anything. That is democracy. But a democratic process of having candidates being fielded against each other for fighting elections is not democratic. That that has a different connotation. But I think that is well answered, and Tehseen also knows why did they field their candidate against President Kovind, then why did they field their candidates against President Droupadi Murmu.
That's a specious, that is a specious argument, but because it's a democratic process. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. Now I would want to, and as you said, that can we give a benefit of doubt? I would want to give it. This is so demeaning for the Indian democracy that I would want to give a benefit of doubt. Unfortunately, I cannot. There's a trail of the Congress party. I cannot believe and I cannot digest the Congress party, the three leaders, the first family of the Congress party coming out in front of the cameras. And Sonia Gandhi is not into politics from past 2 years. She had virtually been the Prime Minister of this country, head of the National Advisory Council and all of that for almost 10 years. She has led the Congress party for a good 20 years. She has a good political experience. I would want to give her a benefit of doubt. I cannot. I can't, Anand. She is standing there in front of the cameras and saying that it's a poor thing. You want to talk about what the president said, and I'll tell you what democratic practices are. On the president's address, in the past, rather on the content of that address also, because the president speaks about what the government has worked, and probably the opposition can have a disagreement with that. In the past, the opposition has even avoided to speak about it. But if you so want to test the democracy and speak about what she spoke about the work of the government, do that. You are saying she's boring?
No,
it was a boring speech. You talk about the content that she spoke, the schemes of the government, the work that the government has done. If you want to have a disagreement with that, you want to raise some issues, do that. All the three of the family members can do that. But in the same parliament, you're standing and saying a poor thing. Boring. I cannot give her a benefit of doubt. I'm very sorry.
You believe you won't give the benefit of doubt. I've seen the other point. No, the other the aspect of not compassion but condescension. This condescension that I don't think you deserve to be president because I have not chosen you. I don't think you deserve to be president because I think you are beneath the office. I don't think you deserve to be president, and that's why I will not acknowledge you or respect you on whatever you say. I am going to totally discard or brush it aside. Why with Mr. Rahul Gandhi? Because even in the past, visually he has been blamed of disrespecting, not acknowledging the president or the Rashtrapati. The Rashtrapati's office has said they believe this is hurtful behavior to the dignity of the office of the president. Yes, Tessie. Final word.
I do believe I do believe that we must make all efforts and strive to uphold the office not just of the President of India, the highest office of our land, but the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice, and all other constitutional posts. Having said that, like you said, Anand, and I repeat, a 78-year-old lady maybe feeling compassion is not something for the BJP to gossip about. The BJP has nothing to speak about, hence they're trying to make an issue out of a non-issue. I am still willing to concede. Concede. Let's not have this. They should not have said it. Let me concede this. But I'll tell you the hypocrisy here and why I don't take the BJP seriously. If I were to say, yes, I don't accept what Mrs. Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi said, and let's accept it, you should be even more careful. I accept it with all my heart and soul. Will he say what Prime Minister Modi said about Mrs. Gandhi, Jersey cow, is wrong? Will he have the guts to say that a Prime Minister's book, currently written in the book, that manual scavenging his spiritual experience is wrong? Will he have the guts to say what Prime Minister said about my friend Shashi Tharoor's late wife, 50 crore ki girlfriend is wrong? He won't have the, or his Minister Giriraj Singh ji said about Mrs. Gandhi? What Subramaniam Swamiji said about Mrs. Gandhi?
See,
that language
you're again moving to people who when you believe,
I am saying they are hypocrites. They are hypocrites.
When you believe that the BJP are hypocrites, then the Congress also doesn't cover itself in glory. It's the same Mrs. Gandhi who back in 2007 called the Prime Minister Maut ka Saudagar. And after that, see, I don't want to get into explaining something which is beyond the subject.
Exactly.
Beyond the subject of this debate. What I'm trying to say is beyond the subject. If you believe that somebody should not say something, I am saying, does this come from a position where I look down upon the person who is occupying an office because I personally don't think they are worthy of it? That's one prism. The other prism of looking at it is, it was an expression which is a commonplace expression. When you look at someone, say, oh, she looks so tired, poor thing. Now, that came out of compassion and had nothing else. But you may want to discount what Sonia Gandhi said, but why it gets covered in question marks is because of Mr. Rahul Gandhi's behavior with the president, around the president in the past, and how he came across and conducted himself as leader opposition. So that's where we leave it. We leave for the viewers to decide their own perception about what happened. We've shown the video again. Siddharth and Tehseen, thank you very, very much. Tehseen Poonawalla stays back. When we come back, it's the conversation around the budget, what the expectation should be. Because the Prime Minister has sought Ma Lakshmi's blessings for the poor and the middle class ahead of the budget. And the Eco Survey also has some interesting highlights. Stay with us.